I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, no, thanks for having me.
Of course.
There we go. Literally, technology has been my worst enemy this week. So
Oh, really?
hopefully
You've
this
had
goes.
have you been
Yeah.
doing
So
like live streams and stuff?
yeah, I was like 45 minutes late on Sunday to a live stream for like 30,000 people.
Oh my goodness.
And everything was set up on my computer, and I had like all my equipment set up and everything, and then I ended up having to do it on my phone, and so I couldn't see anything like of what was happening or really speak to anyone because like the whole thing was like interactive. Oh, it was just like this complete nightmare. Yeah.
Oh
Anyway,
my
sorry, this is
gosh.
boring.
No, that's I'm curious. What was it
Yeah,
for?
and then my phone went completely out as well on Monday. So
Oh
you know,
my.
my friend who's really into astrology says that it's because all the planets are in retrograde or something. So maybe it's that.
Oh, that's interesting. Cause I think it was last week or the week before, a lot of the cell phone providers here, at least in the United States, like the phones weren't working. Like
Yeah,
people were
actually,
calling me and
Virgin.
like
Yeah, like Virgin Media wasn't working here like the last 2 days either.
it's
Interesting.
so weird. Yeah, it was like T-Mobile servers and another one that was down. And so
Really?
yeah, I had an interview schedule on the phone and then it just kept dropping and dropping, and it was like it took forever for it to like I don't know. It was it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So see, okay, maybe it's the planets.
It could be. I don't know.
Like who knows? It's weird. I mean, if the moon can like control tides, who knows? I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't even know what retrograde really means. Do you?
I don't either.
But you hear it all the time, right? Like everyone's like,
Yeah.
this isn't working because Mercury's in retrograde.
Right. Or people's moods change due to how
Yeah.
the moons are sitting or whatever.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you don't sound like you have an accent, but I know you're in a different part of the world. Where are you living at?
I'm in London, but I'm half Swedish, half American.
Oh, okay. So where were you born then?
I was born in Sweden, but like my
Okay.
mom's American, and obviously I learned English in the States. So so I have an American accent. And also I moved here when I was 15, and I just feel like adopting an English accent that late is, you know what I mean?
Sounds kind of forced, I guess.
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah,
trying to do
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
Have you
exactly. And
noticed that you will like sort of pick it up, like or use it?
yeah, especially when I've had like a few glasses of wine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like, yes, and especially when I say English words. So words that I've learned here. For example, my friends used to always make fun of me because they say literally.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Literally.
say literally. Instead of literally. So basically and then I also say like Notting Hill, which is where I live.
Okay.
And basically, and also just start slipping into an English accent when I've had like 2 glasses of wine. And my American, or when I'm speaking to someone who's really, really, really British,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, yes, of course. Yes, that's exactly what I think.
So you
Some
said you
people
came.
like it better.
Yeah. No, that's funny. So when did you move you said 15 when you moved to London. So were you living in the United States?
No, so I moved around a lot. Like my dad was a professor, so we went to like different universities. We lived at Stanford for 2 years. And then he worked in DC, so we were there, and he worked a bit in Russia. We didn't actually live in Russia because my mom refused to move there, but we lived in Stockholm in Sweden. So so he traveled back and forth. And
What
it was
did he
really cool.
teach? What was he a
taught
professor?
economics.
Okay.
And now he's at London School of Economics. So it was really cool. Like we got to grow up with a lot of really interesting people in the house. yeah, a lot of, academics and economists and politicians and stuff, but totally different worlds from what I'm in.
Right.
Um, I went to college and stuff, and like I think he wanted me to kind of go and do like a PhD and do all, what he did,
Mhm.
but I decided to give music a shot instead.
How'd you get into music originally?
Well, I come a lot of my family are, big music fans, and especially classical music. When I was a kid, I would listen to these little CDs that told the story of the composer to the music. So it became this kind of thriller with classical music on in the background.
Mhm.
And I always find it so hard when I speak to people who are like, I don't like classical music. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's so emotional and so emotive. I mean, you just listen to like movie soundtracks, and it's,
Mhm.
it can make you cry or laugh. You take away the soundtrack of a movie, and, the emotions are like half gone.
Mhm.
So I started off listening to a lot of classical songs. My dad was a huge Beatles fan, so I listened to a lot of that. And when I was 5, my mom found this amazing Romanian concert pianist to be my piano teacher,
Mhm.
and I picked it up really quickly. Like I was a really fast learner. And by the age of like 10, I was performing in competitions and playing Chopin and like playing pieces that I can't play now because they're too hard. But I was so into classical piano then. And then it just became too much. I think towards the end, my teacher wanted me to really become a concert pianist. And
Mhm.
that's your whole life. You have to decide that at 12, and that's going
Mhm.
to be like I was going to music conservatory school. I was the youngest one by 5 years,
Wow.
and it was just so depressing. It was like being alone and learning classical piano and just your only friend being your teacher at 12 is not the one,
Did you just get burnt out on it?
Yeah, I burned out at 13.
Yeah, but you obviously kept going. You're still
Yeah,
doing
so then
till
well then
till this
I
day.
exactly, then I found that you can sing and you don't have to work as hard in terms of like you can live a balanced life and go to school and still sing on the side. You don't have to
Mhm.
practice classical piano. You have to, if you want to be a classical pianist, you have to practice like 6 hours a day. I don't know how they do it.
Wow.
um Now I sing a lot of hours a day and I work a lot of hours a day, but it's different. It's not just playing the same piece over and over and over again. It's creating.
Mhm.
um and it's learning, and it's different. But yeah, that's how I got into it.
Wow. When did you
Long-winded.
No, so you're singing, you're playing classical piano. What when you kind of strayed from the classical piano and, the strict like practicing and everything,
Yeah.
when did you start like kind of writing your own songs and going that route?
um it was, I think it was around that time when I dropped classical piano and I realized I didn't know any theory, because I was the type of person who I could listen to a song and she would show me how to play it, but I really didn't know that much about notes or chords and stuff. And
Mhm.
all these pop songs that I loved had chords in them, and I didn't know how to play chords. I could play Schubert, like like down, crazy pieces, but I couldn't play a chord. So I wanted to learn how to do that. And whilst I was learning that, I started writing a little bit, but
Mhm.
they were pretty strange songs. My sister always makes fun of me for it because I was writing about really grown up stuff at 12, 13.
Really? Can you give me an example?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like one of the lyrics in one of the songs was, "Yesterday you left me for that little tramp." And like I don't speak like that now, so I don't know what was going on in my head. Maybe I thought it was cool. I don't know. Like I think I said in that same song, I also said, um, I know you had work to do, but I guess it was on her. What? I looked at that book and I was like, what is going on here? This is strange. I can't even remember what the question was now. What was the question?
I said, when did you decide that you...
to write.
To write instead of just focus on the classical stuff.
Well, I just started writing a bit here and there, and it's just so much. There's, with pop or, rock or indie or whatever, there's such freedom, and you can write about whatever you want, and you can do it however you want. And I love that about it. And then I just kind of played a little bit. I played through college, and I would show my friends and sing at like open mic nights. But it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I really had the confidence to kind of push it forward. I would write here and there, and I'd get to the point of someone would be interested in working with me on like a professional level. Even at 13, I was scouted by some pop producers who wanted to make me some kind of, new young pop princess.
Really?
And and in Sweden. And I immediately stepped back because I just didn't know who I was. And same thing happened when I was 17, and same thing happened when I was about 21. And then I was like, okay, I've got to try this, but I've got to do it on my own to figure out what the sound is. And then I found Ferris, who's my producer, Ferris Badwan, and he was just so cool at like forcing me to look at what I wanted to sound like, and what inspired me and who I was, and forced me to ask all these questions about my lyrics and how honest they were, and what did I want to feel when I heard my song, that kind of stuff.
How did you meet that producer?
I met him through a mutual friend who I was actually trying to contact his producer. So Ferris is in a band called The Horrors.
Oh, I've heard of that band, actually.
Yeah. They're pretty big. They have some awesome songs. Like Still Life is like, I think they're one of their biggest hits, and I still hear it all the time in like sad moments of TV shows.
Oh, okay.
Definitely think it was in the OC and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like that era kind of thing. I think it was like 2000s, 2007 maybe. I don't know. And yeah, so basically, I mean, he's really awesome, and I wanted to meet his producer, and he was going to send it on to his producer, and he ended up basically hearing it, listening to it, and asking if he could produce it.
Wow.
Which was really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And was that kind of the first stuff you started putting out, releasing actually to the world?
Yeah. So the first single that I released was in September.
Okay. And that's the first song you've ever put out on put out for people to hear.
Yeah.
Wow. Was that nerve-wracking?
Oh my God, was it? Like, it's such a strange thing because I think musicians have to be super introverted for a while, and then suddenly they're forced to be extroverted. Like suddenly they're like, we have to talk about all of this like internal pain and like what's behind the meaning of the lyrics. And we've been in a bubble of just making the music for so long. That why do we want to talk about it in front of everyone?
Yeah,
and they're like, "Who are you?"
Like an escape, and then now you have to go explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, the music industry is really tough, especially if you're, independently releasing, which is what I was doing. I had no, idea what I was doing. So YouTube and Google were my best friends. Like, I literally Googled everything. I didn't understand any of the kind of terminology, and I wanted to learn everything that I could. And it worked out pretty well. Like, I submitted it to a bunch of playlists.
What was the song called? The
What
first
If?
one? Okay. I see that one on your SoundCloud.
Yeah. So What If I put it up on SoundCloud first, and then I finally put it on Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. And I just sent it to like a billion playlists. A couple picked them up.
Wow.
And then Spotify put it on Fresh Finds.
Wow. That's cool.
And in like 3 weeks, I had like 30,000 hits.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And you did that all independently, just sending it to them.
Like forcing them. I was like, listen.
Yeah, what did you do? Just keep sending it to them like daily, or how did that work?
It was more like from every angle.
Okay.
So like I would find a contact who had a friend there, and then I'd have a contact who had a friend there, and then I submitted on Submit Hub, which musicians I think know about. It's like an awesome submit playlist
like
kind of hub.
Playlist, yeah. It's like a publishing kind of website, right?
Yeah, it can be really nerve-wracking to do that though, because some of the feedback can be horrific. Luckily, they're always really nice to me. It kind of sucks because they'll be like, "We love this song, we're just not feeling it right now," But my friends,
they will. I thought you just submitted it, and then like bloggers would sift through the songs and try to find stuff that they liked for their personal thing. How does it work?
You send it in to the blogs that you think will like the song.
Oh, okay. So you select the blogs that you want to send it to.
Yeah.
It's not just, I'm going to throw it up on this website and hope somebody finds it.
Well, some people do that.
Okay.
But I mean, I think that's stupid. I mean, what are the chances that person's going to go onto your website if you've literally never released anything? I mean, that's kind of.
Right. Okay. So
there
you
are stories of that though,
Yeah. So
I
you
don't know how they
submit
did
to
it.
the ones that you thought, like, if you wanted to submit to a particular blog, you'd submit to them, and then they can give you feedback. They could say, "Oh, this song is amazing," or "This is garbage." Yeah. Wow.
I know, and sometimes they can like tear you to pieces. I mean, I've had not my own songs, but the first time I've ever submitted something was a project with someone else. And I lay in bed for a day because even though my criticism wasn't bad, I just couldn't handle it. And then I was like, okay, this time it's different because I love my music so much that I don't really care. I know that loads of people have different opinions. The song might not be for them or whatever, but I know some people will like it because it means something to me. And I think it resonates with people,
Sure.
But I've had friends who have had their songs be called garbage, or one guy got this horrible one, was like, your song is like the wallpaper in my grandmother's house, like flowery, overdone, and just outdated.
Wow. Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like, why even write that back? Just say, you know what? Yeah, next time, we're not really looking for this right now, or whatever. Why sit and just destroy somebody?
It's like, what are they doing? I mean, that's the thing. They're obviously just really had a bad day or something, and that song just really triggered that guy.
Yeah, it's interesting that, like, you have to have thick skin for this industry and whatever, because you hear a lot of no's, but it's like, there's at what point, like, that's kind of over the top. I'm going to sit and just ream somebody for this. It's not even like they're giving constructive criticism.
It's not constructive.
Right. It's not like, it's like, yeah, you should probably
angry.
Yeah.
It's weird. Angry. It's obviously, whenever I get a really weird reaction from anybody when it comes to my career, like if I send a song to someone being like, oh, what do you think, or whatever, and they're awful, I'm always like, oh, I stepped on some toes. Like, it's not about the song. It's about that person is going through some crazy shit that day,
Right. Yeah, totally.
Like, it's not about me. So I think that guy, he was having a bad day.
Sure. Sounds like it. So what was the first song you put out? What happened from there? So it starts getting playlisted. It's doing well. What was next for you?
It was doing well. I had another track that I made. So Ferris and I made like, I think about 6 or 7 songs now. And so we gave out the second one, which is called Take Off Your Disguise. So What If is this kind of ethereal, nostalgic, really wavy, kind of 60s vibe. Very Mazzy Star kind of vibes.
Yeah.
As well. So it
actually
has,
kind of hear that in the new song. I was going to tell you that later.
Yeah. Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. It
yeah,
gives
like
me,
that
90s, like Mazzy Star, like,
oh my gosh. I'm a 90s baby. So like I love 90s music. So it has like that 60s waviness, but then it has that 90s like touch, and it's the question, like when I sit down to write a song, I visualize a world because I'm really, I like to see colors and kind of take myself out of where I am. So it's linked to an emotion, that place and that world. So What If is a world where I'm thinking, of a relationship that could have happened, but that just didn't. And it has this nostalgic feel, like what if we'd actually ended up together? It's not a sadness. It's like we are where we are, but sometimes it's nice to even just imagine that what could have happened.
Yeah.
So that's What If. So
Okay.
if that world is about nostalgia and reminiscing, Take Off Your Disguise is a world about moving forward and like unpeeling the layers that you've built for the rest of the world and showing people who you really are. So the song has much more drive to it. It's a bit more electronic. It has this crazy soundscape of harmonies in the kind of middle section that builds and builds and builds, and a Juno synth that kind of like picks it up. So it has like a faster tempo. Like a lot of my friends love running to it. It's kind of one of those songs you feel like you have to sprint. So yeah, so that's like that world. And then Where Will We Be is like this world of, I see like pastel colors and pink and blue skies and sunsets and just dreaminess, and it's about hope and optimism and just thinking, we have the power to create a different future. It lies with us as people, and you can change your circumstances if you really decide to. So it's about that world and imagining something different,
Yeah. So those are the 3 songs that you have out now. You just released Where Will We Be, right? That one just came out like what, last week?
Yeah, last week.
Okay.
Yeah, really exciting. Really fun. Yeah, it's really cool. Like, so for What If and Take Off Your Disguise, they were kind of linked. I kickstarted a fundraising. I fundraised like 10 grand to make these 2 music videos. And so they were kind of linked. And this is like similar vibes, but I feel like it's a transformation forward, something a little bit different. And obviously, because it's been locked down, I haven't really been able to make a music video, but I really wanted to create, because it's such a hopeful song, I wanted to create a community around it. And so I'm crowdsourcing it. Loads of people have sent in submissions and I'm editing it together. And we've had like 250 submissions so far from people around the world, which is really cool.
Wow. When you say, so they're submitting what to the song? I'm sorry.
Videos.
Oh, their own music video. Got it. Okay.
So like little clips that I'm compiling.
You're going to, oh, I see. Okay. So they're sending in clips. You're going to take all, 250 clips, and you're going to kind of edit it to a music video for the song.
Yeah.
Rad. I love that. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. And it's going to be like a day with nature, because it was in lockdown. It's going to have all these people kind of waking up and that routine of, making your morning coffee and then escaping the indoors and just getting that first breath of fresh air and going outside. And, nature is so hopeful and steady. When everything else is uncertain, you've got like the animals and the green and the park and the sky.
Yeah. Well, where will we be part of like an EP, or you said you have some other songs written and recorded?
Yeah. So they're kind of, well, I haven't really decided because I guess they're all kind of part of an EP.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we've worked on them together and they all kind of fit. They're all really, really different, but they're all kind of the same vibe in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all these different worlds, these different emotions. And I want people to be able to kind of step into them and feel something completely different with each song. So I'll probably try and release them as an EP together as well soon.
Okay.
You see what I mean? So I'm releasing singles and then I'll kind of like compile them into an EP.
Mm-hmm. So you I know, well, you only have, so you have the 3 songs out for streaming, but I did see that you've played like sold out shows and like these bigger venues. Like one of them looked like it was like in a church. And
yeah,
how like if you only have a handful of songs or a few songs really released and recorded, do you have a bunch that you play in your set that people just haven't heard recorded yet?
Yeah. So, I mean, like the next single is coming out in, I think, 6 weeks. So I'll be releasing one every couple weeks or every 2 months kind of thing, depending on how the release goes. But yeah, I have like I don't know how many songs I have, probably 35 or something.
Oh, okay.
But when I play about 8 or something of my own ones. In lockdown, I've written 32 songs.
Jeez, just over the past, like couple months?
Yeah.
Whoa.
The first week I wrote a song a day.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I was in self-isolation because my roommate, not my roommate, but my flatmate, my apartment person had corona.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, so I was trapped in my room for like a week. I couldn't leave, and I thought I was gonna get it as well because everyone was saying like, "There's no way you won't get it."
Yeah.
So I thought I was contagious, and I just put it all into my music. It was at the very beginning of lockdown in London as well, so it was really weird. Everything just stopped one day. Like they were just like shut everything down, and so I was in my room. There were builders. The builders were renovating our building. So they put up scaffolding outside of our window. So I had no light. Like it was like a dungeon. It was so bad. And so I just sat there, and every day, the only thing that I could do was talk to my friends. I went on that app House Party like every day, about 10 times a day.
I haven't been on that app. What is it? Like you kind of like a Zoom call?
Yeah, but you can basically, you go onto the onto the app, and then you can just slide into other people's conversations.
That's hilarious. People you don't know? Is it like chat, chat roulette?
Friends. Yeah, we have to be friends.
Okay, you got to be friends.
But they can be on a call. Like I could be on a call with you right now. Like if we were on House Party, and someone who you don't know could just suddenly like join in. And then like loads of people. So if they just need to know one person at the party, whatever it's called.
Yeah, and then they get invited, right? So if one of my friends wanted to join this call, they could, and you don't have to be friends with them.
Yeah, and you also wouldn't have to invite them in. Like they could just slide. They could just slide right in. Yeah,
they could just crash your party.
Yeah, they could just. I was crashing parties left, right, and center. Like I was having the best time. Just going into.
That's so funny. What do people do? How do you know if somebody joins your party?
It says like, Berg is joining the house at the top. And then I'm like, I always used to be like, hey, what's up? What are you guys up to? And one of my friends was on a work call. with like her work buddies. And I was like, why are you using house party? Like, get
Right,
off
yeah.
this app.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't seem like a very professional source.
Yeah. Yeah. What? That's not real. Anyway, but what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I was just literally on this house party app or writing songs.
So is your roommate okay?
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, like,
yeah,
geez. Did she have the really bad symptoms, or was it just?
No, she was like really sick. She had a really high fever, but she didn't get the cough or anything. So she was fine in the end. But yeah, it was a bit scary. It's just because it was so early on. We had no idea what it was going to be like, you know, and what the world was going to look like. And I think a lot of people out there are so nervous about the future. And I think our immediate reaction is to just kind of like go inside of ourselves. And that's what I was doing. I was zooming in, you know, like all I could handle was the four walls of my bedroom and talking about that and not thinking about the news and everything, even though I was obviously reading it because I needed to find out what was happening. But
right. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know how she caught it or anything?
No, I mean, it's London. Like everyone's had it here.
Wow. Yeah.
Like I know at least 50 people. I mean, I could tell you like most of my friends have had it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. London was bad. London was
Jeez.
really bad.
Are you guys still on lockdown? Like orders?
Kind of. Not really. Like there are no restaurants or bars or anything. So the parks are kind of like, they look like festival grounds.
Oh, right. Everybody's just going there.
Yeah. And going nuts as well, you know, doing drugs and drinking loads. It's really funny.
Sure. Yeah. That's what, I mean, we're in San Diego, California, just south of LA.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've been there.
Oh, you've been to San Diego. Really?
I went to the San Diego Zoo.
Oh, the world famous San Diego Zoo.
Yeah. San Diego Zoo, the world famous NC World.
Oh, cool.
And is Disneyland in San Diego or outside San Diego?
It's north of San Diego, like about an hour and a half.
Yeah. So I was actually talking about this today because I did this weird workshop, like a spirituality workshop thing, which I got gifted, where they told you like traumatic moments in your childhood or something. I didn't really understand it, but they were like, when you were 6 years old, like or 7 or something, you had a really embarrassing moment where you felt really, really upset because you were super embarrassed. And I was like, yes, at SeaWorld in San Diego.
Really?
Because I was part of this show in San Diego as like, you know, one of the volunteers. And I was a little kid and I couldn't read the script that they gave me, but I pretended that I could because I was obviously from Sweden. So my English wasn't that good. And I think I was overexcited or something. And basically I didn't know what the storyline was that I was supposed to participate in. And there were like 1,000 people in like that big auditorium at SeaWorld. And I'm having like flashbacks.
Sorry.
I'm like, no. And basically the SeaWorld woman falls into the pool and I thought it was real. And because my dad had taught me, like had started teaching me how to swim, I like prepared myself to dive in. So like I lifted my hands up and like stood by the edge and the guy was like, oh, you're going to go dive in and save her. And I was like, yes. I like started taking off my boots to go and save this woman who works in SeaWorld. And he was like, let me jump, and then caught me. And the whole auditorium just started laughing. And I just remember this moment because the dolphins were going to save her. It was a freaking dolphin show. But I just remember it. It was one of those moments where I was like, I don't understand what I did wrong. You know, like, why are they all laughing at me? And they were like, you're so cute. Like, you don't know what's happening. Anyway, continue about San Diego.
How did you get into the show?
They just asked me, like, you know, from the audience, they were like, you're a little cute kid.
Oh, got it. So you were like an audience. Yeah, they just pulled you up on stage or whatever.
Yeah.
Got it. That's funny.
Those things are really scary anyway, like as adults.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be picked out of the crowd. Hey, come up here and do this. Like, no
Yeah.
thanks.
No thanks. Yeah, and like being laughed at like that when you don't know what's going on. That's like my worst fear is like not understanding what's happening.
Yeah, like being the butt of the joke and not
Yes.
getting it, why you
Yeah.
are, or,
And it
right.
happens all the time as well. So it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, ha 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 ha. Wait, what are we laughing about?
Oh my.
But yeah, you said you were in San Diego, and what's
Yeah.
happening there?
Oh, it's they opened up everything, they did the haircut salons and tattoo shops, and they even opened up bars with all the social distancing, and we just had a huge spike over the past few days in San Diego that the governor of California had to reinstate the stay-at-home orders and
Oh my
everything.
God. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. That
Oh,
sucks.
it's all right. Yeah, I mean, we're knock on wood, we're safe and healthy, but it's just crazy. This thing is insane. Like,
I
it's
know. And
bizarre that the whole world is shut down. Like, that's
the thing. Isn't it crazy? Like, how has, like we're in the 21st century and this thing has shut us down like grounded planes. I mean, it
world.
feels
Yeah,
the
the
whole
entire
world. I don't know. It's just, it's a very strange time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even for musicians, like musicians have no idea what's going to happen to their livelihood. I mean, we can't perform. When are we going to be able to perform? People are saying 2021.
That's what I keep seeing. And tours being rescheduled for 2021. But
yeah, but like that's not going to happen unless they find a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen? And then all these people, how are musicians going to make money?
Mm-hmm.
Like this year?
It's like you have to take a whole year of just no income.
What's happening there?
Yeah.
And then releasing music. I mean, I was like in a serious, like not depression, but I was just so down before my release because I was like, is this a good thing? Like should I be releasing right now? There's just so much out there, like politically with like Black Lives Matter and with Corona, and so many people are suffering out there. Like, why add to the noise? But then, even though a lot of people are postponing releases because it might not be as good to promote right now, and like maybe there's not as much engagement online, and it's really hard to find new fans and all this stuff. I was like, this song is not about that. I don't care if the song flops. Like I want it out there because I think it will bring people a little bit of joy. Like I think it will lift them a little bit because sometimes people just need to escape, just to clear your head in order to like reorganize your thoughts. Even if you're debating people all day, sometimes you need that cleanse. Like you need to meditate, you need to listen to music, you need to go on a run, whatever. That moment of pausing. And that's what I want this song to be. I want it to be that, the listener can just like lie back, listen to it, and dream of something else, and then be totally ready for the day.
I love that.
Yeah.
Where have you been doing? I noticed that you've had on your Instagram like a few of the live sessions and stuff, like you on your piano. Do you enjoy doing those?
Yeah, look, I've got it behind me.
Oh yeah, there you go. And then so you just play right there, huh?
Yeah, I play here. I'm starting to get into it. Like I think it's really cool to be able to reach so many people at the same time. But people's attention spans are just getting shorter and shorter and shorter. I mean, people will come into an Instagram live show for half a song, and you're lucky if you get 6 people who stay for the whole show.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, but then you go on, it depends on obviously where you are, but you can see like you can have 500 people at the whole show, but each one will stay for like a tiny bit.
Right.
And I find myself doing the same thing. Like I'll go into people's live shows for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
and
check
then
it
scroll
out
to
and
the
be like,
next.
I'll go to the next one. Right.
Yeah. Like, because you're also like, why am I on Instagram all the time?
Yeah. Do you feel like I mean, it's all oversaturated now with everybody going live.
Yeah, everyone's going live. You don't make any money from it. It's so much effort. But, if you even just reach like the gig on Sunday that I did, that was like 30,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't see the comments on it. I couldn't link my song. Like, everything was going wrong for me. But there was this one woman who was listening to it, and her name was Susan. And her comments were the only ones I could read. And for some reason, like,
Was Susan nice?
Susan was the best. Susan lived in Edinburgh, Scotland, and she has an autistic son who's 9 years old. She's a single mom, and she said she'd had the worst week. She had a really, really tough week because obviously Scotland, they're still in super lockdown, so they're not allowed to like leave their house for longer than a certain amount of hours. And she was saying that she had a really bad week and that I'd cheer her up. And I was like, okay, you know what? This is worth it. Like, this is worth the, hour of struggling to get online and the computer crashing and me not understanding what was happening, just because I changed one person's day, and that's what music can do.
Yeah. It's kind of it might be what you're striving to do with your songs, make other people feel good.
And I miss, I obviously like that church gig that you spoke about was the most incredible gig. I mean, it was right after I'd released my first song. It was the day that it got picked up by a Spotify playlist.
Wow.
And it was sold out, and I was just standing at the front of this church wearing this like long sequin cape kind of thing. And I'd organized everything myself, like booked the venue, like sold the tickets, and everyone had told me, you're not going to be able to sell out a headline show. Like, no one knows who you are. And I was like, I'll show you. I'll show you what I can do. So I did it. And it was just such a cool thing to stand up there and see people's reactions. And like, for the last song, for Where Will We Be, I performed Where Will We Be there. I got everyone to stand up and clap along because that song is, like the chorus is super catchy. So it's like, where will we be? So everyone was singing along and clapping. And it felt almost like religious,
Yeah.
It was like spiritual. Everyone was clapping and singing along to my song in a church. It was awesome. So I miss that live idea, and I can't wait to get back on the road. I was meant to be touring the States actually now.
Oh, really? Were you going to go support somebody or doing your own headline tour?
I was just doing like small, like I was just kind of hopping around. I went to New York. I did a headline show at the Delancey and played Rockwood Music Hall, which is a really cool venue.
Wow.
And had like 7 gigs there. I love New York. I love the States. It's an awesome place. Like, people are just so open to helping you and like finding, gigs for you. And like, they'll come up to you and chat to you after the gig, like much more than they will here.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like the opposite here in San Diego. Like, I don't know. Really? Everybody has like, there's so many other options of things to do. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's interesting.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like, they don't come up afterwards?
Like, I feel like, yeah, like they wouldn't wait around for the artist to be, to come out and chat with them and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, oblivious.
Yeah, maybe I'm just really personable. Maybe they just love me. Like,
could be. Yeah, I don't know. That's awesome that's happening with you, though.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so the promotion company that did one of my gigs in New York were like, come to LA. And then loads of people in California were like, I have this venue that you can perform at. And so I was just going to get someone to drive me because I still don't have a driver's license. It's so embarrassing. Don't.
Really?
I know. It's so easy not to drive if you live in London.
Well, I hate driving. So I would, rather have that. I'd rather have the public transit. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
now that I have kids and a family, I'm glad that I can just drive. But
yeah,
back before, yeah, I much
yeah.
prefer not having to drive.
And also, like, road trips are great because I'm just like, backseat driver.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't have to. Well, I do. I drove with my friend up to the Scottish Highlands, which is like a 14-hour drive.
Uh-huh.
We stopped off in Edinburgh for the night, like to break up the
drive.
drive, and we ended up drinking a bit the night before, and so he was a bit hungover in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And we got up to the Highlands and we lost service, and I had to be the map person, and then I decided also to be the radio. I was singing every song, and I started off really, like, it was fine. I was singing songs that he liked, like I was singing "Can't Help Falling in Love," like Elvis,
Uh-huh.
and then singing songs that he could kind of sing along to. And then I ran out of songs that I remember the lyrics to, so I was just on repeat. He literally nearly stopped the car and kicked me out. Like, I was like, I think at one point he stopped the car and was like, "You've got to stop. Like, this is the worst. This is the worst
Stop again.
drive."
You're getting out.
Yeah, exactly.
How funny.
But yeah, so I miss it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully soon enough you'll be back in the States, and this all lets up. Like, yeah, it's crazy that this is all going on.
Yeah.
Well, Berg, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me today. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
Yeah, I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
I would say Google and YouTube are your best friends. As I said earlier, just get all the tips and like just ask all the questions. Seek out advice from anyone who you know in the music industry, and reach out to people, because especially with emerging artists, like, people are really down to give you tips on where to go and how to do stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And just get your music out there, because there are going to be people who love it, even if some people hate it. You can always find your people. Bring it back,